Hello, everybody. Welcome to another podcast with the William Waldman team. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I am the designated MC for today with our topic. So you have me, Lucas Tabarros. You got our lovely team leader, Bill Waldman here, and then you got our other lovely, beautiful team member, Rich Sparling, on the side there. Don't get too lost in his looks. All right, he's a killer. That being said, like I said, we're doing things a little differently. Today's topic is investment properties, which is actually one of the main reasons I got into real estate at first, was to learn how to invest in properties myself, where to get started, and the millions of questions that go behind it. Mm-hmm. But I figured who better to pick their brains than the two people on the team who have the most experience between themselves and their clients with the real estate investment market in general. So Bill, obviously our broker of record, I'll start off with the first question for you then. Okay. Investment market is obviously a very hot topic right now, but
sure.
Across Montgomery and Bucks County, where would you say the majority of investment focus is? Is it in Airbnbs, multifamily, single families, flips? What would you say is going quick and heavy now?
Well, I would say that flips are definitely a large one, and I think even just in my experience, single family homes are where you see a lot of flips, because it's where you have the largest number of buyers out there.
Okay.
Because, so for example, like if you look at your buyer pool, do you have a larger buyer pool for multifamily properties, or do you have a larger buyer pool for single family properties? It's for single family, because that's where most people buy. Right. Although there has been a trend of late where people have been buying multifamily homes to house hack. Okay, so like you were talking to me earlier about buying a multifamily and living in one unit and renting out the other one to help offset your costs for your purchase and your living costs. So, but most of it, I think, is single family flips. You do see people out there buying single family homes to rent out. You see that more often. Again, it's an easier entry out there because it's where most of the properties are at, and where you can find good value depending on what it is that you want to do. So. Yeah.
So, investment market in general is always hot, but right now, in Montgomery and Bucks, what you're saying is we've seen a little bit more traction with the flip side in the single-family residential.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think?
Well, I think so. Rich, you've had a couple clients recently that have done some flips, right?
I got several that have.
How quickly would you say that market moves?
It's not just the flips, though. I've also got a couple that just recently purchased that they're going to hang on to and they're going to rent.
Okay.
So my perspective might be skewed a little bit because of the clients that I have.
Okay.
Right? So I do know of a client that he's looking for a twin so that he can rent one side and live in the other side.
Okay.
So and then have the rental paying the mortgage. So those are other ways that investments are being looked at. And with the way the market has been, what's been coming out on the market, there are a lot of estates, which are properties that need to be renovated, which makes it really more appeasing to a flipper.
Yeah. Well, out of the clients that you've worked with and where you've kind of been seeing these flip properties, how quickly would you say they're on and off the market? How high would you say the demand is for it right now around here?
Quick.
Quick.
Yeah, if a house comes up that needs a lot of work and it's priced right, you're going to get a lot of attention. You're going to get attention from first-time buyers who can afford that price range, but you're also going to get competition with investors who, when the market was tough, they're all out there looking and they're all out there waiting. So now things are coming up and popping, and those things aren't lasting long.
No, all the sharks come swimming.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, no, they don't last. They don't last beyond the open house.
Yeah. And
in most cases,
I've seen the same things pretty much. I'm assuming, Bill, you've kind of seen the same thing. So I guess the next main question you have is, with that that market going so quickly, how do you find those opportunities in time? How do you make your offers competitive so that you can lock down one of those properties? Another thing I'd like to bring up as a side note, a lot of people think that they need a ton of money to get into the market. So when you don't have a ton of money, how are you going through and making your offers competitive with all these other sharks that are coming by?
All right. Well, I answer your first question. How are we finding them? Well, obviously you want to use, there's realtors you can use to find, and you can look on the MLS to see what properties are coming up.
Yeah.
But there's also, you never know what opportunities come up. You may see a house that looks, that needs a lot of work or whatever, or, we have a friend or whatever that says, hey, my mom passed or whatever, and I need to, I don't know what to do. Most of the deals that I've gotten have been estates, and people reached out to me and said, hey, I got a property, I don't know what to do. Can you help me out? And I'll go up, take a look, give them an offer, and then.
So those are before it even hits the market. Those are some off-market deals that you're finding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like with what we do with real estate, like sales, you find a couple different ways to generate, the types of deals that you want, whether it is a real estate agent that's looking for you, or if it's a matter of you doing your own research,
Right.
Yeah. That's those are ways. There are other ways, and if you give us a call, we can guide you along with those types of things.
Yeah. I would say making sure that you get a realtor who's on your side.
Yeah.
That's going to be aggressive and intentional, and in contacting the listing agent. If you really need somebody who's going to do that for you, because you can't do it.
Right.
And
let me ask you this then, because Bill, he obviously has a lot of experience with investments in his own properties, and he's clearly found most of them from off-market deals, is what we're hearing.
Most of them.
But as far as on-market deals go, how would you say you help your clients lock down those properties that hit the market that everybody else is seeing at the same time as you?
I try to make sure that I get them in there as soon as possible.
Okay.
I mean,
So timing.
like right away, so they get the first shot at looking at it, which means that they'll be able to get their offer in early.
Yeah.
Being the first offer, I think sets you up for being viewed without the muddying of other offers coming in and being in the middle of the patch. I also stay in touch with the listing agent.
Back and forth.
Oh yeah. Not just texting, calling, and seeing how things are going. How you doing? How's it going?
Right.
Have you gotten a lot of offers? And the one recent purchase that we just signed, we made a change to our offer 3 times.
Oh wow.
Based on knowing that they had gotten a lot of offers, and it just pays to have a realtor who, like Bill, me, you, who stay on top of things.
Yep.
That really is helpful.
Clearly.
Yeah. So getting in there early. I also really like the escalation clause.
Okay. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Some people may not know what that is, so if you want to.
Well, call us and we'll talk you through it.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, no, we'll be happy to help you with it, but basically it does give you some flexibility with your offer to make sure that, you can not overpay. It protects you from overpaying, but it also allows you to, in a sense, make bids.
Yeah. So, from what Bill's saying, you obviously have some off-market deals that you'd have to go through a little extra digging. If you have a great realtor like one of us, they'll help you do the digging as well, and hopefully you guys.
Who am I?
What?
You ever watch The Voice?
No.
Oh, Blake Shelton.
He's doing it. But what were you going to say, Bill?
You guys have watched The Voice, right?
No.
I don't think.
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them.
I
don't think our crowd is watching The Voice after us.
Who knows?
Maybe they'll check it out now, but Blake Shelton's not on it anymore.
Now we need to add some intro music from them in here.
Yeah, exactly. So, what was the question again?
Well, we were talking about the off-market deals, how if you have a realtor, your realtor can help you find some of them as well.
Well, they can, and like a realtor can go door knock a neighborhood and go door knock all the the houses that need work and see if they want to sell. And even if they do find something that they're looking to a neighbor or whatever, a realtor can still help you out and do the paperwork and get the deal to the settlement table. Because
Right.
there's still just because it's an off-market deal, it doesn't mean that there's not steps to the process to get you the
Yeah,
settlement.
exactly.
There's
And
a full transaction.
yeah, and if you're not familiar with that, you could hire an attorney, but you're still going to pay something.
Yeah.
And the examples that you gave, where you had people call you,
Yeah.
if you have a client that is an investor and a flipper,
Yeah.
because you have been called in contact, and now you can go to your client that would be interested and get that done without having to go through the listing process.
So
Absolutely.
either way, a realtor is a great resource to have for off-market or on-market
For sure.
deals. And then, as we heard from Rich, there are a bunch of different things we can do with our on-market house deals and our offers to make them more appealing. But
Yeah.
like he said, contact us and we'll give you a little bit bigger rundown on how to make those offers better. So I guess the next question is,
Financing, right? You asked about financing.
for the type of finance, yes. If you don't have, that was going to be my next question. If you don't have a lot of money and you're trying to get into the investment market, aside from just making your offer, how do you compete with no money? How do you get the offer in?
What's the biggest thing that's the most competitive, like the best offer you could make? Like what's the best financing you could use, or no
Cash.
financing? Cash, right? Like you can find a way to get a hard money lender or somebody that's willing to do it as if it's cash, or unless you have your own cash. But in this case, you're like, well, how do you do it if you don't have any cash?
Uh-huh.
There are hard money lenders out there. You can borrow money from friends, from family, and they could do private money lending.
With the hard lender, it's going to be higher interest rate, but
It's okay.
so I have a follow-up question to that. So I go ahead and I use a hard lender, hard money lender.
Yeah.
And then after I buy it, because now it's been a cash, can I then refinance to pay that loan off to get a better interest rate?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So a hard money loan is it's a loan where it's not through a traditional bank. It could be an organization that lends out money. They have investors that are looking to invest, and they will actually work with those investors to help finance different deals to help make that money.
And it is above board. It's not like a loan shark.
It's not. Yeah, there's specific. They do write a note, like a mortgage note, or they do in some cases even write out a mortgage. They do set a specific interest rate. It is higher than normal, so like a 10-12% interest rate is not unusual. But from an investor perspective, if you're only borrowing it for a year,
Right.
it doesn't matter. It's a part of the it's part of the cost associated with doing business.
And it's not with cousin Luigi.
It's not with cousin Luigi, no.
So, I mean, if you don't have money, you could look at hard money lenders to try
You've
to
done
get
that, right?
that cash
You've
offer.
done hard money lending.
Well, done a lot of times.
What was your experience? Would you say? Would you say it was fairly straightforward, or?
Yeah, it's a lot easier than using a regular lender, because you don't need when you go through a regular lender, you're gonna give them all the documents.
Yeah.
Like W-2s, 1099s, all the stuff that you would give like a regular conventional lender. And there are conventional lenders that do have those different types of products, but you have to find them. But either way, you've got, you just, you find them and you work with them and they write everything up. And it is above board.
Right.
So, but there is one other way.
What's the other way?
Seller financing. That's where the seller will actually finance a portion of the purchase.
Now, the seller financing in the investment market today, would
Right.
you say mostly comes from off-market deals? Or would you say you're able to get some seller financing with the ones that do hit the market?
I've seen both. You've
Okay.
seen both, right?
I have.
Like where they'll actually list in there, so, the agent remarks that seller's willing to do financing.
Yeah.
But that's where the seller will actually, you'll write, instead of a mortgage with a lender or a hard money lender, you'll actually write a mortgage note with the seller, and you'll pay them a mortgage payment every month.
Or they can seller assist to help with closing costs.
So you can do that too.
So, I mean, out of pocket cash aside, there are a couple different ways for you to get your foot through the door, which we touch base on the main points, but obviously there's more that goes on behind it. That being said, let's say we've gotten to the point where we found a way to make an offer, we make the offer, and it does get accepted. I mean, I'd hope you'd have done your due diligence beforehand, but as far as real estate investments go, what are you looking for as far as ROI, return rates? Like, what are some specific criteria you would deem a good quality investment property?
So each investor is different. For me, like I want to make, probably around $50,000 on a flip,
Right.
Okay.
right? It's typically what I want. For
But that depends on how long you've held on to it, correct? So if it's 4 months or 1 month, you still want the same? Okay.
Yeah.
And I have a client who, if he's gonna hold on for longer because it's taking more time to renovate, he's looking to get more. If
Yeah.
he can do a quick flip, then he's looking for less.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, each one's different.
Yeah.
For me, like I know, typically it takes me 30 days to get possession of the property. In other words, go under contract or actually settle.
Right.
Then it takes me probably around 60 days to get the rehab done. And I don't do the work myself because I've got so many different hats, and the amount of time it would take me to do it myself,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be worth it. But then, so 60 days, and then 30 days to market and close. So 4 months is a typical timeline.
4 months turnaround time, 50K profit from a flip.
From a flip,
What would you say you're looking at with rentals?
500 a door.
Okay.
So if it's a multifamily, and it's a 4-unit, that's 4 doors. So for each door, I want $500.
So you should be making $2,000 in profit for a 4-unit.
Mhm.
Okay. And then my next question would actually go to you, Rich, because you've dealt with clients, their turnovers, and your own properties. What would you say are some unknown costs that investors will run into with their properties that they're not considering?
Generally speaking, a flipper's gonna waive inspections except for perhaps the bigger ones, which would be the septic system if it's private or the well if it's private. They
Okay.
wanna know what they're getting into there.
Because it's a huge cost.
Yeah, those are big costs. Structurally, most flippers are contractors, so, they're looking at the property structurally, and they're gonna count how many windows. They got a pretty good idea of what it's gonna cost them to go in, replace flooring, replace cabinets, what's it gonna cost for the entire kitchen. So, what's nice about working with somebody who does that, they know what they're doing.
Right.
Right, and they know what they're looking for, and they know what they're gonna be able to get out of it. Our job would be then to do a CMA, a comparative market analysis, to let them know what it would sell for, fixed up. Add a bedroom, reduce a bedroom by adding a bathroom, all those different kinds of things that we can help them with.
So determining what's worth putting in the work for or not.
Yeah, and how long their money's gonna be tied up.
Okay.
And then,
So, I mean, that'll go for flips, but I was going to ask you as well, because you've been dealing with some rentals along the way. What would you say are some of the unknown costs you run into with rentals?
before settlement or after settlement?
We can touch base on both.
Well, before settlement, it's usually, or when you first get into it, if the property's not rented out, then I've gotten them in varying stages.
Right.
So like I've got like my first properties I bought were turnkey. They
Yeah.
went in, I cleaned up, I put a little bit of fresh paint on, and then 2 weeks later, it's on the market getting
Yeah.
For up for lease. And then I've gotten other ones where like it's a complete mess.
Yeah.
And I've had to go in and get rid of all the stuff, the remnants from the previous owner, and then go in and then repair, replace, like redo the kitchens, redo the bathrooms.
I've been in a couple of those places.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah. And then I've been in situations where like I've had tenants from previous owners. And I had good experiences. I've had bad experiences. Like I've had to evict a couple tenants because they were bad off the get-go. And, they weren't paying their rent.
Yeah.
Or, a tenant dies.
God forbid.
I've had that happen 3 times.
Jesus. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. See, and when you have an investment property, life happens. Your clients, they get married and then they leave if they're renting from you. Your clients may have more kids and they need more space, so they gotta go find a bigger place. They may, like I've gotten calls from police officers where the tenant died after they found out after they did a welfare check. So, these are all things that are a part of it. And but
you had one property that was a rental property that you then decided to sell.
Mhm.
Did that work out really well for you selling it? Better than having just kept it and rented it?
yeah, because you have to assess like the amount of work that needed to be redone to get that unit and all those other units that we worked on up to snuff. It would have cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars that I didn't have at the time.
Right.
And it would have taken away my margin of say $500 a door to be able to keep that property. So you're always checking your numbers, checking your costs, and there's different things that you just have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something about ROI. Like I don't really use ROI as a measure.
Okay.
Tell everybody what ROI stands for.
Return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
Like because I mostly use my properties, my rental properties, as like replacement income for my regular sales.
Mm-hmm.
So so long as I'm making the money that I want to make, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, like we say, location is important for a home buyer.
Mhm.
Would you also agree that location for an investor is really important?
Sure. It's one of the first things that you're going to do when you're determining what like the best, like, because like, say if you live around Hatfield or Montgomeryville or whatever, where are you going to invest? Is it that you want to be 15 minutes from home?
Right.
Is it that you want to be that you don't really care and you just want to make sure you get your money? Like I had one coach that told me one time, he's like, yeah, I buy properties down in Alabama, and he was living in Las Vegas. But that's where the numbers worked.
Yeah.
So like you
Interesting.
yeah, so like there are different markets that you can plug and play. It's about building the team that you need to be able to do it where you want. And if you're going to stay local, then you get your agent or you get title company and your contractor and all that kind of fun stuff, and then you go through that.
Okay, sounds good.
You know what I mean? But yeah, location's important. But some people location's not important. All they care about is the money.
But does the location affect the money? The money.
Maybe. So say if you buy in an area that's
Lower income.
or the houses, and because it's lower income, that the house values are lower, But the thing is, though, is in that area, like say you can pick a house up for $100,000, put 25,000 into it, and you get $1,500-$1,600 a month on it.
As long as they're paying.
Yeah, or so there's some investors they like Section 8.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And if they get 80% of their money from Section 8, it's guaranteed cash.
Section 8 means that the government's paying for it.
Yeah, I've already seen some multifamily units in Coatesville. I think Coatesville's a pretty, I think they're a designated low-income area, where all their rents were literally being paid, like 95 to 100% of the rent was being paid by federal government checks for all 4 units.
Yeah,
So
so that
it's-
comes straight to you from the government.
It's a different ballgame. So, I mean, as far as unknown costs, obviously things pop up as far as repairs. It comes down to different tenants in different areas. Life happens. But that being said, you kind of touched on something, which was going to be my next topic. As far as investment properties go, we kind of have an idea of how to get into them, where to look for them, and so on. That being said, when are you looking to get rid of them? Obviously, it's when it doesn't work for you, but when are you sitting down and running those numbers? How long do you hold on to an investment property? Are you holding on to it as long as it's giving you $500 a month? Or does there come a certain point where you're like, okay, this is now time to sell so I can pull my money out and get cash?
There's different things. It could be whether there's costs associated with holding a property. It could be just the utilities are going up and it's just your numbers just keep going down and you're not making as much money as you used to. If I've got all these costs and I'm constantly paying out cash and just like, okay, it's just bleeding me dry. It's okay, time to get out. It's just like that one property you were talking about, Rich. There was just the cost associated with fixing it up and getting it where it needed to be. It just didn't make sense to hold on to it because all those units that have been about $450,000 in repairs. You figure $50,000 per unit.
Yeah.
It didn't have the cash to, to put that together. So it just made more sense to me to do what I did. So,
and I mean, maybe selling that one property would even give the right investor the money to fix all the other ones as well. So
yeah, there's that too. The other thing too is like we didn't talk about was stepping up to the next one. So say for example you do improvements to a property, the value goes up where you get the appreciation, you get the mortgage pay down, and all that kind of stuff. Now you got an extra like a bigger nut of cash
right.
to be able to spend towards an even bigger property that would make you even more money.
Right. So you can kind of pass your equity on forward that you're building up.
On to the next one.
And then you redo the process with your second investment property and do the same thing with that one, so on. And that's how you start to build the empire.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So would you recommend that a first-time investor who's planning on keeping the property as a rental starts with a single house, a twin, multi-unit? What would be the easier way to get your feet wet?
Single family is. I think most people start with single family.
Single family long-term rental or single family flip?
Single family long-term rental.
Yeah, I was asking about rentals.
So yeah, single family long-term rental because they're easier to find. There are more of them. Multifamilies, there's not as many. And there's more work there can be more work to a multifamily because, you figure if it's a duplex, triplex, or quad, if there's 3 or 4 hot water heaters, there's multiples of everything,
Right.
which requires additional cash.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thing I just thought of.
What's that?
So you have this single house that now you're renting to a family.
Right.
That you can help buy their own house and then bring in another rental and then help them buy their own house.
Yeah.
You get this opportunity to convert renters into clients.
Yeah, well, there's that, but a lot of investors start off utilizing their first house that they bought as their first investment property.
So like the one that they were living in?
Yeah.
And then they buy, it makes sense.
If they've got enough equity in it,
Yeah.
or they've saved enough cash, they take that money and they can buy the next house
Yeah.
without that one, without selling their current home. That's how some people become investors by default.
Yep.
So single family is, I think, where you see most common.
Yeah.
It's great for resale because there's more buyers that'll buy a single family.
That is true.
But again, like, I'm starting to see more people these days because of prices, because of interest rates, buying multifamilies to live in one and then rent out the other ones, offset their mortgage.
Yeah.
So I think I answered your question.
Oh yeah, you did.
Well, I think we talked a lot about the investor market, and obviously there's a million other things that go behind it.
Mhm.
But I think all of our finishing notes would be, aside from everything we've given you today, the one key takeaway is, again, a good realtor knows all. That's my.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, if you're working with us, we'll make sure to take care of you, and whatever answers we can find, we'll make sure to find. But
I agree.
you always want someone in your corner who's looking out for your best interests.
Yes.
And this is something that every single one of us on our team does.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, our team, we've got pretty extensive experience with these kinds of things, and some of the things that you're telling me about what you and your family are doing as well. So there's a wide range of experience here that I think, if you are looking for someone who's trying to invest, why not us?
Yeah.
So, all right, folks. I appreciate it.
That's pretty much it. That's it for the William Waldman team vlog for this week. Catch us next week with whatever topic Beautiful Rich decides to come up with.
Oh my goodness.
And we'll see you then, okay?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right.